Hello and welcome to yet another edition of the Full Force News Burst, brought to you by GeneralsJoes with me as your host, Chris Dome McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80. Joining me today to discuss the news that Jazwares have revealed their plans to create a G.I. Joe Domes line and not the rumoured action figures is Justin Dome is where the heart is, Bell. So without further ado, let's get stuck into this news burst. After all of that, Jazwares have revealed that the big G.I. Joe licensed product they are working on is Domes. Yes, you heard that correctly. Jazwares confirmed the news at their booth at Toy Fair and even had a little mock-up Duke on display inside his plastic dome. After all the talk and rumours, Jazwares will not be producing action figures for the brand, and that is that. Justin, happy to finally know, or is there a tinge of disappointment, or both?
A little bit of both. I mean, I am, I'm happy to kind of get confirmation that they are working on something. It's been going back and forth, and of course everybody's had their little superiority complex where they say, well, see, I told you Jazwares wasn't making figures, and then his tank was, kind of firm in their news that according to Nuremberg Toy Fair, they were making figures. So I guess this is kind of, it crosses both lines, where his tank could say, see, Jazwares is kind of making figures, and other people can still say, well, see, I told you Jazwares wasn't making actual figures.
Yeah.
I mean, to our credit, I think we were both somewhat surprised by the his tank report.
Yeah.
Didn't think it held a lot of water, but obviously this does make sense, and there is, it may allow them also to kind of, I know we both hypothesized that maybe they were going to do figures based on War on Cobra, the mobile game.
Yeah.
And they could certainly do Domes. It's kind of that animated style, so they could sort of use this as an avenue to create stuff for that as well. So, I mean, at the end of the day, more G.I. Joe is better, regardless of the format it's in. So I'm not going to complain about it. But, in a way, I was kind of hoping maybe Jazwares would have something a little bit more interesting, but I think this kind of just cements the fact that if it's figure related, Hasbro's doing it, and they will hopefully do a great job, and they will get some additional scales kind of in the works beyond just the 6-inch scale and do some fun stuff with it.
Yeah, totally. And again, like this isn't really something that massively interests me, I have to say, but
No.
I may change my mind when I see them in stores, and probably I will. Of course, I'm going to buy the lot, but it's going to happen. But I mean, how do you feel about them in terms of a collectible line? Do you think this is going to be any good for the brand itself?
I don't really have good visibility on how these market and sell at retail. I mean, it's not really my bag, but it'll be attention. I mean, it'll be if they stock these next to the Fortnite stuff, then it's going to bring some eyes, So, I mean, I think it's a good thing. Somebody that may just be walking by the shelves and may see Fortnite Domes and go, oh, wait, G.I. Joe is still a thing. And then all of a sudden they're walking down the aisle to see if the G.I. Joe classified line is there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, any eyes are better than no eyes. So I'm always a fan of G.I. Joe having a broader reach, however that reach may come.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that's what we've got, guys. That's what Jazwares are doing. That's what all of the hubbub has been over the past God knows how many weeks, where people have been saying, I can't wait for Jazwares action figures. And it's kind of been like, well, it's more than likely not going to be that. And I mean, this is what it is. Unless all of a sudden they pull something out of the bag in a few weeks' time and we're left here going, what is going on? It feels like this is how companies deal with like leaks of information and stuff now. They just put stuff out there, or they change their minds when that stuff gets leaked. And of course that is an option for a company to do if they feel that leak is going to be detrimental to the development of that line and the kind of perception of it as it comes out. That's obviously up to them. And I kind of feel that might have happened a couple of times in the lead up to this toy fair, in all honesty. But obviously we've got lots to kind of look forward to. Justin, again, thank you for jumping on, mate. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Anytime.
That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst. Thank you to my awesome co-host Justin Bell for doing this 4 times in a row with me. See you next time, and as always, good night. I mean, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback or questions. We have also started a Patreon page, so if you want to see your name up in lights on these videos or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.